To our distinguished guests, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'll just move away from the speaker. It is with great honor that I introduce to you tonight's guest inductor for the 2006-2008 Executive Council of the Moncadenians, Manitoba. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Manitoba in 1991, continued on to complete his Certified Professional Purchases designation from the Purchasing Management Association of Canada in January of 2002, and then graduated in June of that same year from the 4-year Certificate in Management from the University of Manitoba. To further strengthen his spiritual side, he also recently completed the Winnipeg Archdiocese Nathaniel Foundation process at the St. Charles Parish. Prior to taking his political leave of absence from his position at Manitoba Hydro as a Specifications and Contract Officer, he worked as the Union Secretary and Shop Steward for the Canadian Union of Public Employees Local 998. A devoted father of 3, he is a strong believer in education and self-improvement. He has been involved in organizations such as the Winnipeg Boys and Girls Club, Folk Arts Council of Winnipeg, the Health Sciences Center, North YMCA, Manitoba Museum, and the St. Amant Center. He is an active member of his local church and further gives his time to the community through the Ellen Street Neighborhood Improvement Initiative, the Centennial Citizens on Patrol program, and I know is also a fellow member of the Filipino Youth Initiative. Currently, he is the Secretary of the Urban Aboriginal Opportunities, the Council's Youth Ambassador, and sits on several of the City Hall's committees, including the Executive Policy Committee, Standing Committee on Downtown Development, and the Fiscal Issues Committee. He also happens to be the chairperson of the Winnipeg Housing and Rehabilitation Corporation and a member of the Exchange District Biz. Although perhaps most of us know him best as the smiley, approachable, down-to-earth councillor from the Point Douglas ward and the Deputy Mayor of Winnipeg. And so, before I hand the microphone over to him for the induction of officers, I'd like to call upon the 2006-2008 Council to join me, starting with our President, Ms. Serena Marzan-Chang. Vice Secretary, Mrs. Jocelyn Pagadwan. Assistant Secretary, Ms. Nicole Pagadwan. Treasurer is yours truly, Reza Sagan. Our Assistant Treasurer, Mrs. Iona Natividad Hunt. Our Auditor, Mr. Arturo Galupe. Public Relations Officers, Mrs. Evelyn Yasay and Ms. Laarni Galupe. Our Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Conrado Apdan, Mr. Cesar Gajes, Mr. Maximo Gonzalez, Mr. Elegio Natividad, and Mr. Robert Punla. And our advisors, Mrs. Remy de Guzman, Mrs. Zenaida Gonzalez, Mrs. Liberty Natividad, and Mr. Jose Pagadwan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the city's youngest councillor, one of the prides of the Filipino community, our very own Mr. Mike Pagtakhan.
Thank you very much, Reza, and it's certainly a pleasure to be here to be amongst one of the great leaders of our community, of the Moncadenians Manitoba Association. I want you guys to please give them a big round of applause for their selflessness and their leadership in our community. I just want to say a few words before I induct you guys. I want to bring greetings to all of you on behalf of His Worship Mayor Sam Cates and all of my council colleagues at City Hall. When I was sitting at the table and came in late here, and I apologize for that, coming from another event, I was really awestruck, and I was really struck at some of the great projects and the slideshow, and to hear some of the great works of a new association right here in our wonderful city, the city of Winnipeg. In 1971, 13 different cities came together to form one city called Unicity. And when they struck the Unicity, they formed a city motto. In Latin, it says, Unam cum virtute multorium. And that means in English, one city with the strength of many. And so we have over 50,000 members of our Filipino community, and the Moncadenians to Manitoba Association. You have many members of your association, and some of the great pillars of strength that are standing right here before you today. And so I wanted to applaud you, all of the community leaders who are here, and to applaud everyone for coming out to support this wonderful event, this wonderful signature event. This is what makes Winnipeg so proud, and I'm very proud to be representative of the City Hall and to represent Point Douglas and at large the Filipino community right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We've come a long way in all the time that we've been here in this city and in this country and in this province, and we have a long way to go and a great challenge of staying together and being unified. But when I was sitting here and I was talking to Ms. Natividad and heard some of the great projects that you're giving back, you made connection, President Zarina made connection with the mayor and with the barangay captains, and giving back to your homeland, giving back to your home province. That is an incredible feat of excellence, an incredible service of honor. And I want to applaud you and to congratulate you for that very strong commitment to your community. And you certainly are Balik Bayani. So I wanted to now hand out the certificates. State your name. Having been elected to the position of, state your position, of the Moncadenians to Manitoba for the term 2006-2008. Do hereby make oath and say that I will discharge the duties and responsibilities of my office to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I will uphold and defend the Constitution and bylaws of our association. These I do solemnly swear, so help me God. Now turn to the person to your left and give him a big kiss. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations. Please give